Good evening, everyone.
One to not have a recording of. But if we didn't have a recording, I would be 100% sure that it was Mogdred did it.
Wouldn't even be allegedly.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Darkening of Mirkwood, session 121. When last we left our heroes, arriving at Woodmen town, the company attempted to do their best to get the general lay of the land. Speaking with a few of the various Woodmen factions present, the party learned that although opinions were divided about the role Mogdred should play in the Woodmen's future, the majority viewed his prior leadership favorably. Only Sigahild, the plain-spoken, forthright, not really all that ugly, you guys, granddaughter of Firwald the Runner, expressed her strong distaste for the man. She viewed the men of Tyrant's Hill as grasping, seizing everything others had worked hard to build, and calling it by their own name. After a particularly sharp round of verbal sparring between her and Margud, the company proceeded to the great feast that was being held that night. There, the leaders of the Woodmen gathered to feast their fellow Woodmen and hear and judge in the matter of small grievances before the moot officially began the next day. Incidentally, Ulfgar the wine merchant and his daughter Hana were also present. Hana, surrounded by a number of interested suitors, Warsong managed to rescue her before learning that her own suitor, Ragnar, was also present at the moot. That night at dinner, after the usual feasting, drinking, singing, and toasting had been done, Mogdred stood and gave a speech and offered a toast in honor of Ceolwina the Generous, who had been responsible, some years ago, for Mogdred's admission into Woodman society, allowing him to subsequently stand for war leader. After the toast, the Woodman chiefs sat in judgment over any small dispute or grievances the Woodmen might desire to bring. It was at this point that Balder and Warsong came forward and presented the case of Gerbald the Kinslayer. And despite the strident objections of Firwald the Runner, their argument carried the day. The outlaws were admitted to the hall. Watching all of this, Balder thought he saw a glint of steel beneath the furs of Gerbald's beard. He approached the high seat, attempting to whisper something in Mogdred's ear, but was checked by one of the guards. At the moment the outlaws approached the high seat, they suddenly overturned the body of the ailing Gerbald, throwing him down on the floor and revealing a number of weapons concealed beneath the furs. As the outlaws armed themselves and rushed the high seat, Valdis cried out, "Dol Guldur has not forgotten you, man of Tyrant's Hill. Blood will pay, if service will not." And that is where we are picking up tonight. You have had 2 weeks to plot. You've had 2 weeks to fume. You've had 2 weeks to rage, PJ. And now, it is the moment of truth. The bad guys have the initiative because you guys were surprised by all of this.
Before the bad guys do anything, I do have a mechanical question that should be covered
Sure.
end of this fight. First of all, if you are framed and betrayed and stabbed in the back by your fellowship focus,
Yes.
shadow applied, and may I change my fellowship focus?
You're going to get some shadow, but that will not be until the end of the adventuring phase.
May I change my fellowship focus?
You cannot. That is the whole point of Fellowship Foci.
Betrayal. Also betrayal.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All the funds have been my fellowship focus.
Oh, I did not realize that.
He was also my fellowship focus.
Yep.
I meant to change that last time.
Uh-huh.
He's also lived with her over the winter. Like,
He went back to his farm, if I remember correctly.
Nope.
No, he didn't?
You remember incorrectly.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
they have been under the same roof for
You
like
broke bread with these people, Aldefans.
I'm not killing them. I'm killing Mordred.
Yeah.
We will see. Alright, so the bad guys are up first. And Aldefans, that includes you. You will notice that your
I see
token
that.
is not... so everyone else, go ahead and pick your stances, please.
Okay, so
I guess we haven't got weapons, so never mind.
Yep.
So, speaking of weapons, you said, where would my bow be?
One moment, guys. One moment. Sorry. It's back at the entrance to the hall.
Okay.
So does everybody know who they're protecting?
I know who you assigned me to.
Calamirith, do as you will.
It's true. That would be sort of a non-in-character conversation. So
Do what?
having guarding assignments would be a sort of thing that would technically have to happen in character. But
All right, Aldefunds, what you doing?
what would it take for me to go back and get my bow?
You can spend your turn running back to the back of the hall to grab it.
All right, I'll do that.
All right. Valdis is going to... You guys are all in the defensive stance. Holy crap.
Yes.
Also, Mogrid is way too handsome. I don't like it.
I was going
Modrim.
to comment on that too.
Modrid is a handsome dude. Everyone knows this.
Just gonna double down the evil jock mode then.
He's not...
Hey,
Jeez,
real
man.
quick, one other technical question.
Yes.
Did we have to leave everything? We had the shield and armor and whatnot. What do we just not have our weapons?
You would have your armor still. You would not have a shield. Your shields, swords, spears, axes, bows would be left. You'd still have your dagger. Daggers like pocket knives. Everybody's got one.
So I am.
It is
I am-
not your turn yet, PJ. Sorry, bud. So sorry. Bad guys go first. There you go, Ben.
Oh, I think that's by the same artist.
It is. It
Did
is.
Did the picture that I said look like you?
I found it and I was like, that's Mogrid. I love it.
Listen, he's probably like Miglin or something.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
maybe
he
he's
actually.
just-
I think he's actually. Yeah, it's one of the sons of Feanor. But yeah. All right.
one of the poopy ones.
Yes, one of the poopy ones. Valdis is going to lunge for the high seat. Are you guys protecting Mogrid?
Warsong is.
Okay. She's going to lunge at Mogrid.
Oh well. Do I need to ask you about Sigrun now or wait till my turn?
You can ask me now.
Can she assign Sigrun to Lord Kaowen?
Sure.
K1. Warsong hollers to Sigrun to protect Lord Kaowen, and she is forfeiting all of the
Right.
benefits of having him and giving that to Lord Kaowen, which means that his all rolls, he gets to repeat that twice. Sigrun will take the first wound that is inflicted on him, and his combat adversary is weary.
Okay. All right. She lunges at Mogrid, but one of the guards steps in her way. And let's see here. The first guy here, dude number 1, Calamirith, swings at you with an axe as they rush the high seat.
What did I do? I'm just standing there. This is not my fight, you stupid humans.
Warsong, another
Are
one
you-
of...
There? Isn't Calamirith and Mirkwood there at the tables?
I don't know. You guys are in defensive stance, so they're rushing you guys, wherever you are standing. Balder.
The two of them were at the tables with everybody else.
Okay. And then Margood.
So they smuggled some people in without the beer, right?
Yeah, a bunch of other people sort of filed in around the back
Okay.
once
alright, 'cause
they had been let in.
I was like, dang, these people like multiplied. They just
Yeah, there are 12 outlaws plus Valdis and
outlaw nesting
Aldefins.
dolls.
Okay. The outlaws kind of fan around, mostly attacking the high seat, but some of them kind of moving out around and attacking some of the other party goers as well, the moot goers, the feast goers as well. And then for the remaining, so that was 4. So 1, 2. So for the remaining 8. Okay, several of the men of Tyrant's Hill rush forward, holding back some of the outlaws. Ditto. Ditto. Okay. One of the outlaws falls, slain by the axe of one of the men of Tyrant's Hill on the dais. So that was 4, 5. 2 of the men of Tyrant's Hill, of which there are also about a dozen, are cut down by the outlaws as they rush the dais. I need to make sure I'm keeping track of those. Okay, so that was 6, so 2 more. Darn, another 2 of the men of Tyrant's Hill fall. And the other men of Tyrant's Hill hold the remaining outlaws back. All right, players, not Ben. It is your turn.
Are the weapons still on the floor? Because they dumped a whole bunch out.
They dumped a whole bunch out. They would have snatched most of them up. Call high or low, Sophie.
Hi.
There's one weapon left.
What is the weapon?
It is a spear.
Could use as a sword, right?
Actually, sorry. It's all swords or axes. No spears. It's an axe.
Yeah, yeah.
Song grabs it.
Okay.
And,
All right.
Rushes the dais. Can I attack?
You can.
Who is... Well, whichever one was...
Attacking you?
Yeah.
That'd be this guy in the middle right here.
Nice.
You're not Mar.
Do
Doesn't.
I-
No, it just, you're emoting as Mar.
Oh. Yeah. Mar doesn't.
Nice.
All right. Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure that he's going to shrug this off with aplomb. It's going to be the most shrugging. All right, what's your injury rating? I assume you're swinging the axe one-handed.
If it's... Why would I be swinging it
I
one hand?
was sarcasm.
Okay. Just checking.
Surprise, surprise! That guy is super dead. Alright, so Warsong snatches an axe up off the ground, rushes forward, and cuts down one of the outlaws with a single blow.
So it would take us a full. We wouldn't be able to attack until next
Right.
turn.
To get your
if we
weapons,
Get our weapons.
that's correct. It'll take you a round to get back and pick them up.
And it would take a cold shot to take one away from him, wouldn't it?
To
Yeah.
disarm them, yes.
Okay.
What about the one that Warsong just killed? That would be a sword on the ground, right?
I believe it's an axe on the ground. These guys all... a sword or an axe. These guys all have swords and axes. So yes. That guy...
There's 2 dead guys, so. 2
That is
weapons
true.
on the ground.
That is true.
So was one of them carrying a sword?
I believe that's what he just said.
Yes.
What?
One of them was
Oh.
carrying a sword.
Well, can I go pick up the sword?
Sophie, are you done with your turn?
What weapon does the guy that I just killed have?
A sword.
She's gonna pass that to Lord Mildred.
Mogdred has his own sword. He has drawn it.
Okay. Very good.
Nobody expects.
Well,
All the
then-
chieftains have their weapons. It's like a ornamentation thing. So
Uh-huh. Well, that's cool.
they're not totally defenseless.
Sword free. She's
I'll take the sword.
Okay. So Balder, you grab up a sword. What are you doing? Balder, Calumerith, and Margood. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna run back to get my sword.
All right.
I'm attacking Valdis.
All right. Give me an attack roll.
So close. So close. I'll spend a point of courage.
Just Alderfin's goth girlfriend.
I'll spend a point of courage to hit.
Okay. Right. So that'll hit for 5 points of
Yeah.
damage.
7 points of damage.
Okay. They don't have long swords. They just have swords.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's just 5.
points of damage.
Yeah.
So
All right.
would that mean, in this case, would that mean my edge would be 10? Then?
No. All the stats should be the same, I think, except for the.
He has a keen curse longsword, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then the edge would be 10, but it's all right. We'll just remember that. Okay. Yes. Valdis is the enigmatic barding woman who convinced Aldefins to come along with this scheme. All right. And Margood, what are you doing?
I'm running back to get my bow.
All right. Margood runs back for his bow. That puts us. It is Mogdred's turn. Mogdred swings at one of the men charging the dais and misses him. Pretty close though. Okay. It is Aldefin's turn.
Alrighty. Alright, so I have my bow.
You do.
Alright. I'm gonna shoot Mogdred.
Give me an attack roll.
This is weird. That doesn't work in reverse, man. I can't actually click on my stuff and then click on people on the.
Well, I guess he'll just need to be in the rearward stance then.
Hang on.
Yeah, it
Hang on. It should work. Let me figure out what's going on.
That means none of us actually.
Why? Why would it be doing that? Okay, hang on.
Mhm.
I think I know what it is. I think the macro is. Okay, was there a macro here? Adversary. Oh, I guess it's just. Try now, Ben.
Alright. Nope.
Son of a gun.
Do I need
Alright.
to just roll it straight?
Maybe. Hold on.
Okay.
ADV_attack_1.
I take it that 11 is actually good for me then in this case?
It is, but it will also trigger a bout of madness.
Cool.
What
Just
will?
how... Yeah, I'm miserable, so for me a Gandalf, and I have Sauron is the same as Gandalf. But it will also still function to trigger a bout of madness, so...
Okay, that should be right. Character sheet. You're set up as an adversary. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working, except that I tried to convert a normal character sheet to an adversary, and that's just never been done before, so just roll normally.
Okay.
Um,
My great bow.
Mogdred's parry is 5, so he's a difficulty 14 to hit.
Okay. Okay. I am going to go ahead and spend some hate.
All right.
And that gets me to that's my body.
Yes. Well. So when you spend a point of hate, your hate ability is you can spend a point of hate to up the chance of the degree of success by 1. So you can go from no success to a success. So that will just hit. It's with a great bow, which is.
Sorry, that is 7 damage.
The weird thing is that this worked earlier. Wait, that just worked. So why doesn't it work on Modred?
He's special.
There it goes. There it goes. Hey, try it now, Ben. Try it now, Ben.
Okay.
Just for the heck of it.
Is it because I select my great bow first?
You click your token, you click Great Bow.
Yep.
Then you click Modred, and then you say
Doesn't
submit.
select- It doesn't do anything when I hit Modred. Whenever I hit great bow, it gives me that hashtag advance_attack_1.
Okay, it was doing that for me too, but it's not now. So, all right. Well, in any case, you did 8 points of damage.
I think potentially the macro may only let you roll his damage, roll his attacks as the GM.
Yeah, but that's not how it was designed to work. So anyway, I'll figure it out later. Arrow goes sailing through the length of the hall, and as it does so, you see Modred reel a bit as the shaft snaps on his chainmail. All right. That is Aldefin's turn. It is Valdis's turn again. Warsong, you were attacking Valdis, so she is gonna.
Wasn't attacking Baldus.
Somebody was attacking Valdis. Balder was attacking Valdis. She's gonna turn and like spitting almost venom at you, snarls, and she says, "You should have stayed, cowering under Bard's protection." She thrusts her dagger at you and misses.
I spit in her face.
Oh wow! Okay, cool. All right, Calimirith. As you're running back for your axe, one of the outlaws that's kind of fouled in around the back takes a swing at you. He will miss because you're a dodgy elf. Warsong, and as you cut down one of his companions, one of the other outlaws turns and attacks you. You take 7 points of damage as the weapon slams into your leather armor. Let's see, Valdis.
Below or even with?
Sorry?
Is weary below or even with?
Even with. Margood, as you're running back for your weapon, one of them attacks you, but you are even dodgier than the elf somehow.
Heavy armor, I want to assume.
Yeah. Wow, what is your parry?
It would be an 8.
Yeah, I guess that's not impossible. That's just really high. Wow. Okay. And then one of the Woodmen is going to try to attack Modred. He's going to miss. All right. Top of the round. Modred actually goes first. He is going to take a swing at one of the Woodmen, or one of the outlaws rather, and again just barely miss it. He's going to spend a point of hope to make that. And hit that guy for 5 points of damage.
Anyone?
Oh wait, sorry. I gotta roll for all the unengaged guys.
I was going to ask about
My
those
bad.
guys,
Yeah. Okay, so 1, 2,
Waiting.
3, 4. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 6. Oh man, 2 more of the Men of Tyrant's Hill fall as they are caught by surprise. There's only 6 guards remaining in the hall. Make that 4 guards remaining in the hall. Make that 2 guards remaining in the hall.
Wow.
As they are quickly overpowered. Make that 1 guard remaining in the hall.
Good lord.
Make that no guards remaining in the hall. The guards, the Men of Tyrant's Hill, who were sort of around the dais in the scramble for weapons, the sudden rush, unable to determine friend from foe, are either overpowered and disarmed or cut down as the outlaws swarm the dais. And that is the bad guy's turn. So Mogdred made his attack. So Kelly Mirith, Warsong, Balder, Margaret, you're up.
Okay.
They're generally defending themselves, Ben.
Okay.
Everything is a big rush.
Chaos.
Obviously, some of the bodyguards are trying to get their leaders just out of the building. It's a general chaos. I'm not describing everything that's happening, but it's a general mess.
Yeah, and those who are in defensive stance, you have to declare who you're defending if you're defending at the top of the round. So if you're in defensive stance, you should declare who it is. And otherwise, you...
All right, Kelly Merith, what you doing?
Oh, actually, I need to be up here. I'm going to do intimidate foe.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to get interesting.
Right. Okay. This is why I don't want. Okay. Dang it. I'm going to hold on. That would be spending. Sorry. Battle. That would be hard. Since we're in Mirkwood, would this be favored?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am going to spend a point of courage to make that a 15. So that's a success.
Mm-hmm.
Which means
Drains 2 points of
2
hate.
hate points.
Okay.
Right, I don't think my sword adds anything to that at this level.
I assume that also applies to me.
Wait, if you hold on. I add my valor to the amount of hate it moves on a success. Okay, so actually, that is 5 points of hate.
Okay, I get to choose. It's 5 points total, and I just choose how to spread it out.
Okay.
All right, and do you get anything else like a second attack or something, or is that only if you roll a Gandalf?
I think that's only on a Gandalf.
All right, I will take a point of hate from each of these guys down here at the bottom. All right, they actually have some pretty good hate abilities too. So, all right, Warsong, Balder, Margood.
Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
If I was to use my horn, what would a magical success do? Would that, would it be able to do? Would it be able to help rally any of the men that were in? That is still in there to rally against?
You might be able to do that. You might also be able to summon reinforcements based on how successful you are.
I think I'm going to attempt that.
Give me an inspire roll.
And I get to add 2 times what my wisdom is to my roll.
Right.
So, a total of 4.
Okay.
And I'm way up here, so what did I roll? So that's
a 13.
A 13. Well, I'm going to spend a point of courage to make that.
Okay. So that'll be a great success. So everyone, since you're doing a rally comrades, everyone will, on a great success, regains 3 endurance, except for Ben.
Now, for that to be magical, would I need to
spend a point of hope?
Okay. Can I use courage?
Sure.
Instead of okay. Okay. So
all right.
Are any of us? None of us are missing. Or well, Margaret is. Or sorry, Warsong and Modred are. Yeah. So that's helpful.
So as yes. Oh, that's right. That heals Modred.
You should be surprised.
It's just very rare that your stuff heals my people.
It's an amazing horn, man.
So Balder steps up towards the dais and raises this ancient ivory horn to his lips, and when he blows it, a shrill blast fills the air, and Warsong, Mogdred, Margood, Balder, Kalimirith, you all kind of look up suddenly enheartened, and at least for a moment, the chaos of the hall, the blast of the horn just seems to cut through it. Rushing in at the door, you see 6 men of Tyrant's Hill who had just been sort of outside, come rushing in with weapons drawn, rushing towards the dais to assist their lord. Nicely done, PJ. All right. Okay, so there are now 6 men of Tyrant's Hill in here. That was Baldur's turn. Warsong and Margood. What are you guys doing?
Where is Valdis?
Valdis is up at the dais. She was fighting Baldur just now.
With Warsong close to Mogdred, is she close enough to
Sure.
target this?
Yep.
Okay. Why am my buttons are now? Okay.
Buttons look fine to me.
Yeah, not there. I don't have a.
When you click your token?
When I click my token, I don't have a thing. It has a purple box and a white and a gray checked box, and
What?
then regular, thin, small, large, extra large. There's no weapons.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with your system. You're using your axe?
Yeah.
I'll roll it for you. Okay, that is a great success.
Okay.
So that's 9 points of damage. That is enough. You just run up behind Valdis and cut her down as she is raising her dagger to strike.
That ought to help Warsong's position.
Stand down.
All right.
You are next.
Margood, what you doing?
I am, since I'm defensive, I am defending.
Well, you ran back to pick up your bow, right?
Oh, that's right.
So you want to put yourself in the rearward.
Okay.
At least they won't all know that arrows aren't just coming from Aldefen's town.
Where is Aldefen's? Is he back with me?
Yes, he's back there. You just saw him put an arrow right on Mogdred's chainmail.
Give him more mark, dude.
Okay, so I'm gonna two-handed axe at Aldefen's.
All right, so move out of the rearward into open forward or defensive. Rearward's just for ranged combat.
You can't use a bow if you're engaged with him.
All right, give me an attack roll. So you click click Margood, select your weapon. No modifiers.
Okay.
All right, Aldefen's. Margood runs up to you, snatches up his long-hafted axe from the wall, swings it very clumsily in your direction, and misses. His body rating is 4, so he could not fix that. Okay. That's it for you guys. Aldefen's, it is your turn. Warsong did, yes. She killed Baldis.
So,
Killed your girlfriend.
can I use my bow while I'm engaged?
You can, if you want to ignore the man flailing with the axe and take another shot.
I will do so.
All right, give me an attack roll.
All right, let me see if this works.
Do you say anything to him as you do this? Here, I'll do it for you.
Across the hall at Mogdred?
Do you say anything to Margood as you're shooting?
Or Warsong, who's screaming at you to stop.
All right, that arrow hits.
Warsong,
Once again, does not pierce his armor.
Warsong's going to step in.
You're gonna take it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you take 7 points of damage. You see that Aldefins, you watch your arrow glance off of Warsong's shoulder as she steps forward to shield Mogdred.
You see his face harden as this happens.
Okay. All right. Calimirith, as you have your blade raised above your head, one of the outlaws rushes you and attacks you, hitting you for 7 points of damage. Balder, one of the outlaws charges towards you. I need you to give me an armor test, buddy, against TN 14. Okay. That was an Eye of Sauron, but you still made it. So you roll... so you take 7 points of damage, and you do have a called shot coming your way next turn.
Tell me if anything significant happens with Lord Kaowine or Sigaroon.
I will let you know. That so far they've just been trying to get through the guards. Hasn't actually come to the lords yet. Mogdred is just being sort of out in the front. One of them does attack Mogdred and hits him for 10 points of damage. That was 1, 2, 3, and then Warsong, one of them attacks you. Missing you just barely. Alright, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then for the other 5... Man, another as the men of Tyrant's Hill rush in, 2 more of them just get cut down. However, another one of the outlaws falls, cut down by one of the guards on the dais. 2 more of the outlaws fall, cut down by one of the guards on the dais. So there's 3, 4. Nothing happens. 5. One of the men of Tyrant's Hill is killed in the rush of the outlaws. All right then. Okay. One of the outlaws lunges up towards the dais, and as Mogdred is fending off another blow, he lunges at him, and the blade makes contact with Mogdred's rib cage. And Mogdred needs to make a protection test. All right. Well, he made it. Just barely.
But that's called shot.
Yes, he does have a called shot coming his way. All right, so you see Mogdred kind of staggers backwards as the blade glances off his mail. But his armor probably saved his life just now. Okay, that is it for the bad guys. Calimirith, it is your turn.
Do you guys think I should go for a stooge, or should I go for the traitor in our midst?
I feel like cutting down these stooges would probably be the best thing right now, but that's just me.
Yeah.
We can handle other things later.
Are any of these wounded yet?
No. Actually, this guy is.
Taking hate is also good.
Would you rather I do that?
It's your call. Special stuff for that, though.
Do. Okay. I will intimidate foe again, I guess.
All right.
Okay. 2.
Nice.
All right, so a great success is going to be 6 points of hate.
Nice. All right.
It's nice to have a magical sword that scares people.
Yep.
But it especially scares hobbits.
Yep.
Those poor hillbilly hobbits probably thinks you're a demon or something.
All right. You raise your sword again on high, Kelly Meredith, and as you let forth a mighty elven battle cry, the blade seems to flash in the light of the lamp of Balfi overhead, even as blood is spilled here in the hall, as should not be so. And you see that the men of Tyrant's Hill, including Aldefons, or not the men of Tyrant's Hill, the outlaws, including Aldefons, cringe back a bit in fear from the flashing light of the blade. Balder, Mirkwood, and Mogdred are up. Mogdred is going to attempt to cut down one of his attackers. Mogdred just cannot catch a break.
Okay. Which one of these guys just took a swing at Modric?
That's the...
Is Margaret any good at Raleigh Companions?
This guy right here.
Okay. Well, I'm going for him. I missed.
Okay. As Mogdred, hold on, PJ, we'll get to you in a sec. As Mogdred gives swings his blade at one of the outlaws, the outlaw ducks out of the way. But at that moment, Mogdred lets out a shrill whistle, and you see an enormous black dog leap over his shoulder, and you watch him just rip the throat out of one of the outlaws.
It's nice to have a dog, especially a really big one.
All right, and then Balder, you swing and you miss. Margood, what are you doing? Gonna try to take Aldefons out again?
I am, since I'm in the back there.
All right.
I'm really the only one who can protect against his arrow. It seems reasonable.
Do it.
Does he get any advantage seeing that Aldefons is just ignoring him?
I would say, yeah, Aldefons does not have his parry for this, because Aldefons has made the choice to just keep using his bow.
Oh, come on.
Well, let's see. You need at least a 9 to hit. Do you want to spend a point of hope?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Well, a 9 will hit for 7 points of damage. Aldefons, it suddenly becomes here. I gotcha. It suddenly becomes impossible for you to ignore this as the axe slams into the leather armor on your back, and you stagger forward. Borsong, it is your turn.
Okay, well, you seem to have Aldefons.
Apparently, but not very well.
I will target one of the ones that are attacking Mogdred.
Okay.
Also, I can't roll for myself, so.
I don't know what's going on there. We'll have to sort it out later. All right. Well, let's see here.
Roll it first, but when y'all were messing with the buttons, I think something changed.
But do you want to spend a point of hope for extraordinary success?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we
Well,
Is there company hope? Okay.
I don't know. Is there?
I'm showing 7 points in the fellowship pool, so
That is a
Just
lot.
been- Y'all can take courage from me, and I'll take them.
yes,
That's
yeah.
fair.
So you're spending a point.
All right.
You never know if Aldefons isn't there anymore. It should be a little less than that.
Yeah, that's true. Aldefons would subtract 1 from that because he's not
Okay,
part of it.
so now it's
Yeah.
It's actually if she spent 1, we're at 5.
Yep. All right. Warsaw cuts another one of the outlaws down, and Aldefons, it is your turn.
All right, I am going to shoot at Modred again.
Darn.
You just really hate this guy.
That's what I'm here to do. Wrong click. Okay. Here we go.
Oh,
That's the case.
I guess I need to do it for you, don't I?
If that's the case, Mark, you can just move up the open stance and just waylay.
Where's he at?
Modred.
That.
Modrig looks like he's about halfway on health.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and roll. I'm gonna go and spend a point of hope.
Okay.
Hate, right?
That is your last point of hate.
That's fine.
To
Make it a great
Warsong.
success.
Warsong will step in front.
All right. That is 10 points of damage for you, Warsong.
Okay.
All the funds you watch as your arrow hits Warsong again. And you think,
You are the worst fellowship focus, for what it's worth.
you think of the times that you had together, how you stayed with your family, played with their dogs, you broke bread with them all through the winter, and now you are trying to kill her.
You horrible human being.
All right.
All the dead soul.
Yeah. Darn. All right, this guy attacks you, Kelly Mirith, and he misses. Balder, this is a called shot coming your way for a disarm. It fails, so you don't take any damage. Margood, you're in the back. This is a called shot coming Modred for disarm. It succeeds. You see two of the outlaws rush the dais, and one of them knocks the sword down out of Modred's hand. And Warsong, this guy's going to attack you for some damage. No damage. Okay.
How much?
No damage. It missed you. All right. So that was 4. So there's just one that I have to roll for now. As the men of Tyrant's Hill begin to get control of the situation now, you see another one of the outlaws go down, and at this point it's reduced to just a ragged band of men and Aldefons, now trying desperately to bring Modred down. Kelly Mirith, it is your turn.
What sort of cold shots are allowed to a sword?
Disarm is the main one.
Okay, I'm going to
You could looking at it right here, you also have the holding back. You don't want to hold back. Pummeling attack, savage blow, and swift strokes are all just basic close combat.
Yeah, I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna do a cold shot on all the funds.
Are you gonna rush back towards him to disarm him?
Yes.
Okay, give me an athletics test to see if you can kind of close the distance
Okay.
to make your attack. Unless you have a trait that would allow you to do that. You're an elf, so you might.
I don't think I can. Does swimming apply here?
No, I don't know. No. Alright, yeah, you're fine. You can get back to him. You watch Calumerith move with elven grace, almost as though she is hopping from barrel to barrel as she makes her way back to the back of the hall.
She's hopping on the top of these woodmen.
Go ahead and give me your attack roll. Alright, it is a called shot, so that fails.
Okay, that had to be a great success.
Yes.
Okay, dang it! You think I've got 3 feet dice?
You would think so. Mogder's having the same dice problem today, so. Margood, I see you have moved up, so it is your turn.
Well, I was doing what TJ said. I think I wanted to attack.
All right, give me an
Oh,
attack roll.
Sorry, all the funds.
He's ignoring all his stuff, so you just have to make a 6 now. So basically, if you roll a great success, you hit him. And
There you
Well, you do hit. You also have a called shot coming your way if there is anyone left to attack you next round. And you do 11 points of damage. Aldefons, this time the axe of Margood, your previous companion, slams into you, cutting deep into your side, exposing rib and sinew as you stagger, nearly dropping your bow. You are on your last moments. Balder and Mogdred are up. Mogdred is going to stoop and snatch up his sword, and as he does so, the huge hound is going to leap at one of the two attacking him and miss, apparently. All right. Balder, you're up.
it's my turn. I am moving up. Which two are which ones are engaged with Modric at this?
These two guys right here.
I am fixing to go for a swing, and I hit him for 5 points of damage.
All right. Warsong, what you doing?
I guess attack one of the nearest outlaws.
Okay.
The one of them's wounded.
Yeah, this guy's wounded.
That we can go for that guy.
All right.
That's fine. You'll have to roll.
Oh. Oh, now I'm seeing it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Okay. So click on Warsong's token.
Uh-huh.
And then click off. So she's not highlighted. And then click her again.
She's not.
I was gonna say, every time you click her, you got the wrong thing selected.
You've got the wrong tool, babe.
Right.
You don't have cursor selected. You have like writing selected.
Right.
Hey!
All right. That was so bizarre. All right.
There you can see that there's a whole bunch of like little click marks. On
That's
her
so
face,
funny.
Like you're drawing.
Warsong. See, it's not just Mogdred. Like, sometimes having a 4 in something does not mean anything. All right, Warsong, you swing at one of the outlaws, but they are now very desperate and very focused. Aldefin, speaking of desperate and focused, it is your turn.
All right, I will attack Mildred.
Do you say anything?
What is there to say?
All right.
My family or something?
Give me, I guess I have to roll.
You have to do the attack, you just the roll.
You killed my family, you son of a bitch.
There we go.
All right.
It's not exactly Princess Bride quote, but close enough.
Right, so
That is going to be a piercing blow. As the arrow speeds through the air, you hear a loud yelp as the huge black dog rises up and falls still on the floor of the hall. As your third and possibly your last arrow, Aldefons, misses its mark.
Mildred! That's not even his voice, but... Anyone else need to die for you today?
All right. It's this guy's turn. He's going to attack Kelly Mirith. Kelly Mirith, you take 10 points of damage.
Oh boy, I think that puts me in the weary hole.
Balder, this guy returns your attack. You take 13 points of damage. This guy attacks Mogdred for 7 points of damage. Son of a gun. And this guy attacks Warsong. For no damage. Kelly, Mirith, Balder, Margood, you're up.
Somebody gonna roll?
Is there any more? Is there not any more Men of Tyrants Hall in here?
There are, but it's at this point it's just these 4 guys, and they're all kind of clustered around things, and other people are having a hard time sort of getting in to bring their weapons to bear.
All right, I will move back into open stance and do rally combats.
Okay. Give me an inspire roll.
Did it.
You did it. All right, so it's an ordinary success. So that's everyone regains 2 endurance, except for Aldefins.
Oh, too bad. I'm still weary. I need 1 more point to get out of the weary.
One that ignores weariness or that regains health?
Could I spend my point of courage, my last point of courage, for a magical success to do both?
I'll allow it.
All right. That's what we're doing, folks.
All right.
So now that allows us to...
We get 2 back, and we are not weary for 2 rounds?
Two rounds.
For 2 rounds.
Okay.
All right. Kelly, Mirith, and Margood, you're up.
Does the called shot against me happen the next round of bad guys? Is that what happens?
Yes, and none of them attacked you, so that goes away.
Why did...
There's none of them back there to attack you. So it just means that the next attack aimed at you gets a called shot, but there wasn't one. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it is your turn, Margood.
So at this point, then who is the closest to Mogren? Is it
It's probably these 2 guys right here, but you're the one back in the back with Aldefins, I think.
okay, well...
I may not understand what you're asking.
Well, he's on his last leg. I was going to make sure that nobody else is.
Go ask Aldefins a question.
All right, I'm doing all the things thing again. Might actually...
That still hits because Aldefins is not defending himself. Aldefins Dead Tooth falls beneath your axe, Margood, cursing Mogdrit's name to his final breath. Is these 4 guys...
That was the biggest waste of breath I've ever seen.
Cursing Mogdrit's name to his final, fetid, terrible breath.
Better that than if he'd backed out.
Kelly Mirith, that misses you. Oh no, it just hits you for 7 points of damage.
I didn't attack yet.
I'm sorry, you're right. It is y'all's turn still, so never mind what I just said. There's all these. I'm sorry. There's all these little pink spots everywhere, and I'm very disoriented. So.
It's telling Modred and war songs.
So you said that the 2 men in the middle are closest to Modred?
Yes.
Yeah, and the one on the far left is wounded.
Yes, also correct.
One on the left? Wait, which one's wounded? Okay.
Attacking him with your swordy sword.
Be right back, please.
That still hits for you, right?
Yeah, I get a hit.
Yeah, it's like a Gandalf for you.
Yeah.
Because magic. So
So
9 points of damage. Yeah. With a flourish, Kelly Mirith, you cut that outlaw down.
And it is Modred's turn. Maybe he can cut one more.
It is Modred's turn. With his sword now in hand, he's gonna not hit something for crying out loud. You know what? I'm gonna spend a point of hope. Because, frankly, that's annoying. Alright, top guy's wounded. Warsong, it's your turn.
Okay.
Top guy is wounded.
Who is that aimed at?
The top one.
All right, so that's 7 points of damage. He's not quite dead, but that guy staggers back, reeling from your and Mogdred's blows. It's the bad guy's turn now. That guy's going to attack you, Warsong, which he fails to do. Kalimirith hits you for 7 points of damage. And Balder hits you for 10 points of damage. I think that's you down, buddy.
You said 7 for me?
Yeah, 7 for you.
Yeah, I am down.
All right, Balder falls beneath the stroke of one of the 3 desperate outlaws remaining to carry out this act of base treachery. Margaret, it is your turn.
Top guy's wounded. Cut him down. Or I guess you could shoot him with the bow too.
Yeah, I've got the bow. The top guy's wounded.
Okay.
So
You want to move into the rearward stance there, bud?
sorry.
No, you're fine. I was not correcting you at all. I was just reminding.
So,
One more guy.
That'll hit. That outlaw drops with an arrow in his throat. And Kalimirith, Balder.
Balder's down.
Balder's down. Kalimirith and Mogdred, you're up. Mogdred finally freaking hit something, and that guy's gonna need to make an armor test. Injury rating 16. Which he fails. Mogdred cuts down another one of the outlaws. There is one single man remaining. What are you doing, Kalimirith?
I was gonna rally comrades, but
Go for his throat. I'll be fine.
That'll hit for 5 points of damage. Warsong, what are you doing?
I guess I will hit him with my axe.
As it was in the beginning. That's 7 points of damage. And I don't think you guys are ignoring weariness after this round, right?
yeah, after this round we're back to
All right.
very home.
Margaret already made your shot. It is this poor, treacherous, awful human being's last turn. I mean, if we're being honest. At this point, a couple of things happen. If Richard can get his notes up.
Hey, maybe Valdez was the Mormon.
Man, if she was, you guys lucked out big time. That's all I can say. Where is it? Sorry, guys. 1 sec.
I keep watching my door because I'm afraid that, like, somehow or another, I'm walking through. Oh, there he's back.
They're afraid out of moon ghost is gonna come and hunt you.
Ben gets up, walks over to Jeremy's house.
Well, like he got up and left, and I was like, oh, shoot.
Kalimirith, as the final remaining outlaw, prepares himself to rush Mogdred one last time. dying fingers of Garibald grip your leg. And he
Which
pulls...
Garibald?
That was the old guy that you guys were getting admitted to the hall.
The one who just got unceremoniously dumped on the floor.
You're on mute, Ben. He clutches your leg and pulls himself up to your knee, and he says, "The beast has taken everything from me. 3 times I fought it. 3 times I was defeated. But a foresight is on me now. The beast will die in a place where there are no shadows, in a time where there is no hope, and its death will be the doom of the forest. It must die. It must be slain. All things must pass from this world." And you see him just sort of stiffen and go limp as the final outlaw makes his attack. And misses. Kelly Mirith, Mogdrid, it is your turn. Mogdrid, as he makes a final lunge at Mogdrid, Mogdrid kind of looks over the carnage that his hall has become at the fallen form of you, Aldefons, and he says, "Just one more." And as his blade falls, the final outlaw is cut down, and the floor of the hall is slick with the blood of men. In the aftermath of the battle, first of all, you all catch your breath and regain your basic heart in endurance. In the aftermath of the battle, the corpses of the outlaws are carried outside the settlement and flung into a cesspit. The hall is vacated so that it can be scrubbed clean of blood and the filth of battle. And those who prove their bravery in the midst of the fight are given food and drink, allowed to rest from their weariness before you are called before Mogdrid. When you meet him, it is not in the hall, but in his own home, which is well furnished with the furniture and the finery of the southern kingdoms of men, although it is not a particularly large house in other regards. He is sitting on a carved and polished wooden chair as you enter. Off to one side, you see a huge black wolfhound lying with its side bandaged, seemingly sleeping peacefully. Well then. I believe somebody owes me an explanation.
Let's. You can speak, Balder.
That was something that wasn't really expected. I had felt the and seen the anger of Alderthans towards you. He spoke very angrily against you. I did not expect him to turn against his own kin in a way that he did. I don't even think Gerbold knew what was happening. As they were walking in the hall, at that time I saw what I thought the glint of steel, which proved to be true. At that moment, I was running up towards the high seat.
Alderfin's despite of me was well known. I made no effort to bar his entrance to the hall. I am not the sort of man who leads by censuring my political opponents, whatever men may say of me.
I really, right up until the time that they attacked, I really didn't have any proof of his plan. I just suspected so. I tried to find you beforehand, but I tried to find you beforehand to let you know, but I was unable to.
Turns to you, Margaret. The traitor died by your hand.
I suspected him, but without proof, there was nothing that I felt that I could do. But protecting you and protecting the honor of the Woodmen is the most important thing. I'm sad because I think he was at root a good man, but his mind was just turned at the end.
No, you did well in not taking action before. It would be only a fool or a villain who, for suspicion, would raise his hand against his friend. And you, Warsong, what is to be done with the body of this traitor? Should we have him flung into a pit with the others?
He was my friend. He wintered with me. He sat at my father's table. And then he betrayed us. And it was to him. Who had been with him. I would see him I would not want him to be thrown into a cesspool, though. I would that he was taken, not with madness, but by his own will. Like he was at one point, I think.
I know your pain all too well. Many years ago, there was a commander in the service of Dol Guldur, a cruel man, a hard man, a slaver, his face was horribly disfigured, and among his many faults, he was a very vain man. So whenever he went out to ride, to fight, eventually to eat, he wore a terrible masked helm. That man was Mogdred, Lord of Tyrant's Hill. Some years ago, he captured 3 children of the Woodmen. 2 of the Woodmen, one of the Leofrings in the river valley. They were his servants, and then his slaves. Or rather his slaves, and then his servants, and then his captains. But they were only children, taught as children will be, to be like those that raised them, cruel, unyielding. But they were always true to each other. When the White Council drove the necromancer from the Hill of Sorcery, his servants were in great disarray, scattered by the White Council and by the forces of the Elven King, by the Woodmen. The children saw an opportunity. All of the old captains who had seen Modred's face were gone. And here was a castle. And here was an army. So they made an agreement. They would kill Mogdred. And one of them would put on the mask. The problem was, they couldn't agree about who it should be. In the end, Dagmar loved me. But we both loved Athala too much to kill him. So we arranged for him to be taken away. We thought, for good. And I wore the mask. I commanded the forces of Tyrant's Hill. And when I thought my time was ripe, naively, foolishly, I revealed myself to my people, thinking they would welcome me with open arms. As it happens, they didn't. Why should they? And so, for a long time, we lived as outlaws will live. Kaelina changed all of that, and I have done my best to repay him. But Athala, you were all too young, except for you, friend elf. You were all too young to remember the horror of Dol Guldur. But what you saw in the Skadugangas, what Athala became after he returned to claim what he thought was his own, and I denied him. What he did was what he was taught to do. And for that, he is not to blame, nor is Alderfun's, nor is anyone. This is the will of the enemy, that men should be set against one another. I am not a good man, but I dream that one day I will have a good son. Bury your friend. I know too well the power under whose sway he was caught to judge him any more than you have already.
Fine, I'll roll insights. 2, but nobody else is.
I'll roll insight too.
Sure.
Get a great success.
One moment, PJ.
I don't have anything to get my third. out of character. So this guy's real name really isn't Mogri then.
Well, it could have been if he actually was who he said he was. It had to be Ingold. Ingold?
Yeah, Ingold.
Right, but it sort of depends on how much you believe him. If you just rolled insight to find out, so.
I also want to roll insight, even though it's unlikely that I'll get anything.
Sure.
But I just want to try.
Seems legit.
All right.
I don't know if you're trying to say something, Jeremy. You are on mute.
No, I'm just thinking I told you so, so I don't think I'll roll in. I'm believing all of it. This is what I thought.
All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to say or do?
I thought of something a minute ago, and then I rolled insight and I forgot. So.
I think that Callie Meredith might be a little out of Mogdrid's race.
Hey, it's happened, and it's always a man of lower stature going with the.
It's happened, and it has always ended in a happy, completely fine fashion. You're right.
Don't say it would. Like. but it's
Haven't
pumpkin.
all of the mortal males who have married elves, they've all been like royalty of some sort.
Yeah, I'm like Tuor, he was pretty awesome. Baron, he was pretty awesome. Arundel, come on. Aragorn.
But every one of them married up big time. even though they were awesome. They were
Yeah, it's true. It's true. No, yeah, no arguing that.
I truly am sorry as to the events that happened today. I know it's hard seeing your own men all in your own home.
There's a reason we do not bear weapons in the hall. It is to be a place of peace, a place of comradeship, a place of friendship. Today that has been violated. Let us hope that on the morrow, when the council sits, that suspicions do not begin to run rife between us. It is more important than ever that we are united. If the servants of Dol Guldur could creep in among us through our very doors, through our very friends, through our very compassion, they may do so again. I would exhort every one of you to be on your guard. Now then, I have a few preparations to make, a few other people to speak with about what has just happened.
Warsong will back, and as she is going out, she is taking note of the dog from a dog raiser trainer standpoint.
Yeah. He's at least as big as Sigaroon.
The once over, like
Yeah.
sizing him up curiously.
Big dog.
Baldur bows and says his goodbye.
All right.
As an elf, is there anything I can do for this dog to help it heal?
The Woodmen are extremely skilled healers as a culture. It looks as though he's going to pull through.
Okay.
All right.
Sigrun is where?
I guess with you now.
Good. He's well.
He's well. He's well. The men of Tyrant's Hill guarding the dais managed to protect the other lords sufficiently. And that was also helped actually by Baldur's calling reinforcements in. Basically, as soon as the guards were all cut down, it was going to start being... I had a little roll table for which lords died first. So summoning reinforcements was really good.
Nice one.
That horn really came in handy.
Yeah.
But, just because I'm curious, what is the shadow count at now?
You will get 2 shadow for being betrayed by your fellowship focus.
I didn't mean that. I meant the hunt counter, but
Oh.
okay. Got it. That's also good to know.
I'll have to look at the hunt counter. You will get 2 shadow because your fellowship focus is betrayed you, and also 2 shadow because your fellowship focus is dead.
Dead.
So 4. All right.
You suck.
Is there anything else you guys want to do before the council the next day?
I'm gonna pull Warsong inside and tell her that from what I can tell, even if he isn't sharing every detail, it does seem to be the truth. Also, I want to go check on the wine merchant in Hana.
The wine merchant is... are you checking on the wine merchant or are you checking on Hana?
Uh-huh.
Both.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Absolutely. Dad.
Ulfgar is just in a state. He is...
Did you see them? There were dozens of them in the hall with axes and swords. Don't they know that that's bad manners?
Yes.
Oh, I can tell you. Sorry, what was your name again?
I'm Baldur.
I can tell you, Baldur. If I was a younger man, I just showed him a few things.
Kind of like Warsong did.
Why, it was only 20 years ago that I fought at the Battle of 5 Armies. It's true. I've still got a scar right here.
Father, it's all right. I don't think he wants to see it again.
All right.
Fortunately, we were sort of at the back of everything when the fighting started. You were very brave, sounding that horn and all.
Well, thank you, my dear. I try not to take too much of the credit. If it wasn't for the people like my friends like Margaret or Warsong or Calamir, I'm afraid that would have ended much worse.
Yes, but I just hope nothing happens at the council tomorrow. I think everyone's on edge enough as it is.
Yes. It's I really do hope that that Modrig will be able to rally the leaders and be able to keep any strife out of the hall tomorrow.
Indeed. Well, I suppose if my father's wine has anything to do with it, there will at least be good spirits all around. It's a little bit of
I'm sure that's one thing everybody can agree on. Your father has some of the best wine I have ever tasted in my life.
Yes,
particularly in 1963.
I've noticed you seem rather fond of that year. You must be a man of great means if you're able to put so much of it by.
Well, I mean, if you're...
Tell me, do you have a great interest in winemaking?
I've never really thought of that, but...
The answer is yes. She's hitting on you.
That would be very interesting, especially to learn from someone like your father.
The 1963 was allowed to sit on the lees longer than we usually do. It's a drier wine than we'd usually make, but it's I feel that gives it a certain character, don't you?
Yes, it is. Like I said, it is absolutely. It's probably the best wine I've ever had.
Of course, the longer rain season that year. Well, it always, in my experience, it always contributes to a certain extended earthy quality, don't you think?
Yes. Generally, the more rain it helps the plants.
You don't know anything about winemaking, do you?
Not really.
Well, I need to be putting my father to bed, but if you'd ever like to learn, you can always come and see him in Lake Town.
I would be very much interested in that.
All right.
I am glad that you are doing okay.
Thank you. So am I.
I know exactly what Baldur's doing his next fellowship phase.
The rains make the plants grow. Oh, thank you, PJ. That was amazing.
Yeah. My personal life experiences hasn't gone quite that well.
So the next morning, after your fast is broken, the hall has been purged, cleaned, swept.
Do we get any more?
Yes,
Yeah.
heart plus 2.
Okay, basic.
Yes, basic heart plus 2.
My stats look so weird after playing Mar.
The
So low and my heart's so high.
the hall has been swept and cleaned and purged, and it's a much subdued company that breakfasts in there the next morning. And afterwards, the boards are cleared away, and the council begins. And we're going to do the council scene, and then we will close it out for tonight. So your party may choose one spokesperson to speak at the council under Kaylina's authority. And by default, this must be the Woodman with the highest standing. So this will be you, Warsong. Others of you may whisper things you would like to be said, but Warsong will have to do the talking because this is a moot of the Woodmen, and while there are dwarves and elves here who have things to address with the council, it is the Woodmen who must ultimately make and weigh the decisions.
Chance to talk to Lord Kaywine since
For sure. Is there anything you would have liked to have said that you want to play out?
I want to know if he's changed.
Okay. Give me an insight roll.
I mean, can I ask him?
You can.
Do I roll inside or do I talk to him?
Up to you. What is it, Warsong?
You knew him also. He's been at Sunstead for the last several months.
There are many times in these last few years when I have thought that I knew someone. What I have learned is that it is not enough for the shadow to take our homes, to take our lands, to kill our men in battle, to break us under the yoke of slavery. They will not be satisfied until we have broken ourselves, until we have destroyed and devoured each other like animals, not because they want to weaken us for the kill, but because I think they enjoy it. Aldefons is caught up in a fate stronger than himself. I know that feeling well.
With this change that we talked about.
I suppose it will depend on what it is that Mogrid actually wants and what it is that is brought before the council. But Dol Guldur has cast its vote. And so I have to think very carefully now about my own position. If Dol Guldur fears Mogrid as a war leader, even as something more than a war leader, what can custom say against that?
Would you prefer for me to remain silent at the council?
If you have wisdom you would impart If you have wisdom, you would impart. Then we will let them hear it. But you too should think very carefully, as I am doing now, about what the right future is for the Woodmen.
Okay. I wanted to talk to you.
All right. I'm gonna go see why Tears is crying. I'll be right back.
So
What? Cool.
Kaowina is leaning towards Modred, or whoever he is, to be king.
Nobody's talking about king at this point. Maybe.
Well, from what I could gather, it kind of indicated that he was leaning toward everybody coming up under one leader.
Certainly more efficient that way. Mind is wired to have a king.
Kelly if it's just what it's just confused.
I just don't. I don't know what to think about these human politics.
Kelly has known one king for 150 years, like he has been on.
All right. And with that, as the boards are scrubbed and cleared away from the morning meal, the folkmoot of the Woodmen properly begins. With the great lords, the chiefs of the Woodmen houses, all 7 of them here, sitting in council. Modred as ward leader, Earl Athanagild of Ammon Balglir, Earl Magni of Woodland Hall, Woodland Hall, Earl Hartmund of Mountain Hall, Amaswinta the Spear Maid of the Black Tarn, Firwald the Runner, Elder of Rosgobel, and Kaowina the Generous, Chieftain of Sunstead.
Can I roll insight to just see, like, from facial expressions or like body posture, or just their overall composure, how they are this morning?
Sure. Give me an insight roll. Hard to tell.
Is there anything Warsong can roll preparatory to going in to get any bonus dice?
Great question. You can roll insight or lore to get bonus dice for an encounter. Also, Warsong, what is your wisdom?
3, I think. 4.
4, and what's your standing?
2.
Okay, so your tolerance is going to be 7.
I think I might roll lore instead of insight. I'm not weary.
That's an 11.
Yeah. What kind of bonus dice would I get?
With a great success, you would get 2 bonus dice.
Well, we're probably going to go into a fellowship phase soon, and we've still got fellowship.
Yeah.
Cool if you want to spend one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's down to 4, and I have 2 bonus dice.
Right. So the first matter that comes up for discussion is the appointment of the road warden for the following year. At this point, the short, even for a dwarf short, kind of surly-looking red-bearded dwarf steps forward and introduces himself as Sphere of Erebor.
Know that the road is restored and maintained.
Gosh darn it, Augusta. Sphere.
I knew that wasn't how it was spelled, but that's what I mentally how it was spelled in my
It's all right.
brain when I heard you say it.
Know that the road has been restored and is being maintained. We, a group of us dwarves who are committed to the restoration and maintenance of old dwarven things, believe that it is high time that a son of Durin were appointed as road warden. And I would like to put myself forward as a candidate so that all things would be restored to their proper ownership.
And Warsong, at any point in time, if there's something you'd like to weigh in on, you feel free to jump right in there.
Okay.
All of the woodmen kind of look at each other, and Modra just kind of... You are welcome, Sphere of Erebor. If Durin's sons desired to restore the road, they already had ample opportunities to do so, as it was reclaimed by the blood and the sweat of my men. It is only just that my men should reap the rewards. When such a time comes as the King of Erebor is willing to, shall we say, compensate my men and I for our efforts, our blood, our sweat, we will be quite happy to discuss terms. Till then, I would put forth Ragnamar of Tyrant's Hill. He is a trusty servant, a valiant warrior, and I believe that he would be trustworthy as a road warden.
Was he the old road warden?
No, this is the younger kind of like tallow-dyed guy that Margaret grew up with.
Isn't it Aldefons who was talking to him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, not that one, Augusta.
Okay.
One. Yeah, he wasn't of Tyrant's Hill.
Oh, he was the one that was not impressed by
Aldefons'
told
attempts.
Aldefons to go away, and
Yes.
He'd buy him a drink.
Yeah,
Yes.
he went to the archery contest.
If Mogrid was being a little bit more strategic, I would think he would want to consider whoever it was, that lady who you say isn't ugly, that suggested someone from their group to be the road warden. Is there a way for people who are listening to suggest that sort of thing?
You can suggest something through Warsong if you'd like.
I don't know if I want to blow her speech on that
Yeah.
item,
All right.
but okay.
With no objections, the decision of the council passes. They appoint a new... It's a 1-year post.
Yeah.
So there's a new one appointed every year. But that might be the sort of thing you want to let Modred sort of maybe suggest to him later on, when you have a moment in private, Margaret. The second item, which is brought before the council, is brought forward by a wood elf who has come with an embassage from King Thranduil. Greetings, Lord Modred and chieftains of the Woodmen. I am Galvorn of the Woodland Realm. Recent events have made it very clear that a more unified opposition to the Shadow needs to be made than what we have allowed our relationships to devolve into in recent times. My Elven Lord is calling a Council of the North, which has not been had for some 10 years or more, to be held at his halls next spring. He is inviting representatives of all the free peoples of Wilderland, and runners such as myself have been sent to summon you to this council in the hopes of organizing our defense against the Shadow. Will the Woodmen send someone? The arm of the Shadow has indeed grown long, Galvorn, if it reaches even here to this hall, under the light of the lap of Balthy. And those of you who are familiar with Woodman culture would know this is a somewhat pointed reference, as if to say the cooled relations between the Woodmen and the Elves may not be entirely the Woodmen's fault. Yep. It's like every time you guys come to Woodman Town, one of Ben's characters does something super evil. I don't know why.
Always Ben's character.
Yeah.
Hey, but this is a great thing. Like, now we know.
You know, just avoid this place and you'll be fine.
Warsong, like, there's this aura around certain characters,
Yes.
and so she's really protective of them around
Yeah.
Woodland, and like skirts around, takes a long way.
We should just ground Ben from going to Woodland Hall.
Let's be friends somewhere else other than Woodland Hall. My friends go crazy here.
It would be remiss if the Woodmen, who are a people great and numerous now, did not send an ambassador to this council. Will one of our chieftains volunteer?
Baldur leans into Warsong and say, and whispers, this is such great importance. You may want to mention that if Modric himself goes, that would give a greater impact.
Do any of the chiefs seem to be volunteer?
Give me an insight roll. Got those bonus dice.
But he's sitting quietly.
One sec. Sorry, cat. What'd you get, Sophie?
2.
Okay.
Because she's so insightful.
At this point, Mogrid arches an eyebrow and says, perhaps this honor should be accorded to our brother Kaewina, as he is well respected and well known to our kinsmen in Dale, as well as to the Woodland realm, if there are no objections. The third and final matter to be brought before the council at this Folkmoot is the recent appointment of earls by the war leader. To this, Firwald stands. No one has yet mentioned the most grievous matter
which was to come before this council, namely, that Modred of Tyrant's Hill should, against the long usage of our forefathers, take upon himself to appoint earls of our great houses, rather than allow those houses to choose their own chieftain. This is but one of a number of attempts on the part of our ward leader to extend his authority beyond the ancient customs of our people. Were it not for recent events which have troubled this mood, I would warn him against overweening pride, saying that the hand which is stretched out too far may be cut off. Will the Woodmen stand for this, or will ancient custom and order be restored? If Modred finds the title of war leader too tight a fit for him, let him again be chieftain of Tyrant's Hill, and let another man with lesser ambition lead us in battle. So says Firwald, who was, if you have forgotten, sometime chief of this hall. At this, Athanagild stands. Firwald has said much which, given our recent troubles, one might say, if indeed Firwald were not our most ancient and respected elder, would better fit in the mouth of an emissary of Dol Guldur than in a man of the wood. But let that pass. What he proposes is that half this council should be disbanded at once, that our war leader should resign his seat as the people have chosen, and that all of the judgments and decisions which we have rendered, be they great or be they lesser, should be annulled. So much for the counsels of old men. If age brings wisdom, 'tis said it also brings a fading of the memory. Has Firwald forgotten, I wonder, that the Woodmen were not always so divided and contentious? Has he forgotten that we are the sons of kings? Long before the ancient customs and usages of which he speaks, which are nothing but the innovations of these later days, these lands belonged to our sires, who were the rightful kings of all Rovania. Have we forgotten Vidugavia, who lies yet in his barrow less than 10 leagues from this hole? Have we forgotten the might and the puissance of our forefathers? It seems we have. But Dol Guldur has not forgotten. Dol Guldur fears us, and it fears what we might become if we were united again. So they have made this attempt to slay our war leader, lest united we should become great in the earth, and challenge Dol Guldur, yea, and challenge Dale for the dominion of the north. Return to ancient custom and usage? Aye, I say, let us return indeed. Let us again take our rightful place among the great people of the earth. Modred no more the war leader, ye say? Aye, and I'll back that. Let Modred no more be war leader. Let him be king. And he sits down.
I wish I could say something. This would, if Baldur could have, this would have been the great time to bring back the.
You saying anything more, Song?
Not yet.
Okay. Modred stands at this point. You have said much, Athanagild, and though your heart was full of love for me and your people, I fear it was Ulfgar's wine which did most of the talking. At this point, there's kind of like the air kind of like goes out of the room, and everyone just sort of. The sons of kings we are indeed, but their sons, not their thralls. Who is Modred to take the throne among you, when any woodman might claim as much by virtue of his very blood? No. I will not be king, not though you beg me or threaten me. The day may come when a son of my loins is the king of Rovanion. But even then, he would be naught but a prince among princes if he stood in Woodman Hall under the light of the lamp of Bolthy. Pray you, Athanagild, as you love me, speak not again of a throne. The gift stool of my people is as high as my own ambitions rise. We're on.
Is anybody else saying something?
I just don't want to steamroll you.
Oh, I'll pipe in.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean I'm not piping.
Okay, all right. At this time, Amiswinta clears her throat. A prince among princes your son may be, war leader Modred. But today you have spoken, as becomes a prince. The Woodmen are, as you say, the sons of great kings. Why should we despise the rule, even of all Rovanion, if it were given into our hands? Bard could trace his lineage back no further than Girion, but Girion was only the lord of Dale, not its king. Yet none would say that Bard has not wielded his power well, or that he has violated the ancient customs of his people. You have said that you will not have from us the title of king. So be it. That is your will, and in accord with the will of your people. But in this very hall, Dol Guldur too has made its will known. That Modred, as the leader of the Woodmen, is a draught too bitter for them to swallow. Therefore, let all those who would call themselves the enemies of the Hill of Sorcery take him for their leader. And let us call him by that title that he himself has named, though he knew it not. Let him be Modred, Prince of the Woodmen. Truly, says Modred, I have said that Modred will never be king. But Ingold, son of Ingomer, may not scorn to be called prince, if Amiswinta the Spear Maiden will stand at his side, and be his lady, and bear him sons to his name.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
Amiswinta turns to the council. What say you, chiefs of the Woodmen? Shall there be an end to the quarrels of our houses?
Wait, so who just proposed this? Did she propose it or Modred proposed it? Sorry?
Modred.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, it's Ingold?
Ingold.
Ingold, okay.
Athanagild bangs down his fist on the table.
I. Magni, grinning and looking for all the world like a overfed Brian Blessed, says, I. Hartmund of Mountain Hall, fresh-faced as ever. I. Fearwald the Runner, Elder of Roskabel, spits. Nay. Okay, we need the generous chieftain of Sunstead. With a heavy sigh. Aye, so be it. And Amos Winter turns to Mogdred and says, so end forever the quarrel between the houses of the Woodmen. My lord, I am yours.
I'm gonna roll insight on her and use my 2 extra
Okay.
dice.
Give me an insight roll.
Morwen has looked like people before.
Fair enough.
Could I do an insight roll too?
Sure.
Can I do a happiness roll? Because this is awesome. My boy's about to be free.
Prince.
Yeah, whatever. It's all semantic.
Let's see. How do y'all feel about me spending a company help on that?
I'm fine.
Go for it.
So I made that roll. It was more than 14. It was plus 6.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like Amos Winter. Mogdred extends a hand, which Amos Winter takes, and the remaining days of the Folkmoot are taken up in the wedding of Lord Mogdred, now no longer Mogdred, but Prince Ingold of the Woodmen, and his new bride. And as Prince Ingold is named Prince of the Woodmen, and the Folkmoot concludes, that is where we are going to end tonight's session and this adventuring phase.
Wait, so he's Prince of the Woodmen, so he's still sort of higher ranking than the other lords, but he's not king? Is that how that works?
That is how that works.
Basically, he's king, but not king.
Augustus wasn't the emperor, he was the first citizen.
First among equals.
First among equals, yeah. Yep. So,
Well, all I could think of through that part, and I got distracted and possibly missed some things, was just the thing about, what is it? The line about from Julius Caesar about how he did not take the crown, so he was not ambitious.
Yeah.
all right. If there's nothing else anybody wants to do at the Folkmoot, we're going to conclude right there, and we'll be beginning next session with the fellowship phase. So be thinking about what you would like to do for your year-end fellowship phase undertaking.
Man.
And then, sorry?
It's year end.
Yes, it'll be year-end. So think about what you're going to want to do for your year-end fellowship phase undertaking, and then we will do wheel and woe rolls. So I will have new tables ready for everyone. So you can put your character's life into the fickle hands of fate, as per usual. And then we will be beginning next adventuring phase with the Council of the North at the Elven King's Halls, which is going to be kind of fun. We actually have never spent basically any time in the Elven King's Halls in this campaign, so I'm really looking forward to getting to sort of showcase that location. I am sorry that it's like 2 councils in a row. I would say that I don't make the rules, but I don't know. Anyway,
I didn't get this far this session, for what it's worth.
Yeah. So we will. We're gonna be beginning at the Council of the Elven King's Halls, which everybody's characters should have a very good reason for being present for. So, anyway.
At some point, Warsong does have to talk to Magnicar.
Yes. If you want to do that between now and then, we can. All right.
Just between the two of you.
All right.
This is not the kind of role playing I signed up for, man.
Gonna see how much Ragnar knows about winemaking. All right.
How much experience can we get?
You all get 2 XP for tonight.
This was
So-
also not the way that I saw tonight going, like, at all. Expect to get this far, or
We actually was able to keep any of the lords from dying.
Yeah, that was actually pretty impressive.
and Warsong survived without her dog, which I'm not sure if y'all know how much of a difference Sigrun makes in her fights, but
Yeah, it's a big deal. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. Ben, I am sorry about all the funds, but also not sorry.
I am definitely not sorry about elephants.
I mean, I'm not sorry because it's an amazing story.
oh my goodness! Oh, one of his backup characters died. Who were the guards that got killed?
His backup characters did not die. They were on my roll table, though, so if PJ had not summoned reinforcements, there was a chance. So, Ben, you will need to decide who you are bringing to next session. You have options, and they all have good reasons for being at the Council of the North. Angi, you might want to talk to the Council of the North about the dragon situation.
So,
True.
record, if he was actually there, and he hid the whole time so that she couldn't see him.
I suspect he would show up late. I can't really see Ungi not throwing down if there's a fight.
Yeah.
So-
we might have to finish this off next session at the beginning.
Yeah, so you decide who you'd like to bring in next time, Ben, and we can be talking about that. Otherwise, thank you guys so much. I hope you all had a good time, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks in scenic Mirkwood.
Alright, sounds good. Take care, y'all.
Good night, everyone.